How's it going? My name is Evan, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you what are the best entrepreneur and digital nomad books for 2019. And all of these books, just as a disclaimer, none of them really have came out in the last 2 years. They've been readily available for a few years now, but they're still extremely relevant for 2019 for those that are in entrepreneurship as digital nomads as well. Especially for the digital nomad, which is what I'm mainly focused on. And a lot of these books I did actually end up reading while I was away and while I was getting paid to travel as well. And I use a lot of these tidbits and tips inside of these books in order to be able to become location independent so that I can live wherever I want and just get paid from my laptop. So I'm going to be showing you what are the best entrepreneur and digital nomad books for 2019 with my 5 favorite books that you guys need to start reading in order to start gaining a little bit more income, a little more knowledge. Ty Lopez. So let's actually just get started with this number one. Enough of me blabbering around. So number one is one that was recommended by my mentor Iman Gadzi, who you guys may have known through his mentor, who is Sam Ovens, and that is this guy right here. So this is Made in America by Sam Walton. And if you don't know who Sam Walton is the guy who founded Walmart right over there. So it talks a bit about how he started and how he began his entrepreneurship journey from selling. I think he had a dime store. Yeah, it was a dime store right at the beginning, all the way up to creating the biggest retail store of the 20th century, which ended up being Walmart. So it just goes along with his journey, his humble beginnings, and it gives a great insight on the mind of one of the greatest entrepreneurs to ever live. So that's one that I would definitely recommend as number one on my list. And Sam Ovens also mentioned that Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon, he makes all of his managers and CEOs read this book. So that's how powerful that this book is. So if Jeff Bezos recommends it for all of his managers and CEOs and the heads of Amazon to read this book, then why aren't you reading it? So I'm going to put that down here. So Made in America by Sam Walton. And then number 2 on my list is with 2 L? Yeah, it is with 2 L's. Brunson. So my second one that I do recommend, and this was the first book that I ever read by Russell Brunson, and it is Dotcom Secret. So I read this book while I was away last year at the beginning of the year. Yeah, at the beginning of the year while I was away. And yeah, while I was in South America. And this book is freaking incredible on being able to start your online business, what you need to do to create an excellent foundation to start driving traffic, start driving sales, to get people interested, even to get you interested in your own products and to get you to believe in yourself so that you're going to be able to actually go out into the world and be successful with online entrepreneurship and start getting money online too. So the best part about this book is the attractive character element. The attractive character element is incredible. Where Russell Brunson goes into detail about the different elements on how you can create your own story and start selling yourself. Kind of like a product a little bit, creating your personal brand, but it's truly incredible. So I would highly recommend that you get Dotcom Secrets as well for this year. Third on my list, and the disclaimer, this was the first book that I actually read inside of the entrepreneurship niche that kind of started everything. So this was the book that started everything. So I'm going to put a little star next to this guy, and it is Isaacson. So it's Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. And this book, while it's the biggest book on my list, other than the fifth one that I'm going to show you as well. But this book is packed with unbelievable insight of Steve Jobs and his whole life, and how he kind of got started with Apple, his inspirations for it. If you're a free spirit and you're into entrepreneurship, you're a digital nomad. Obviously, you're a free spirit if you're a digital nomad, because you love taking risks, you love exploring new places and eating new food, seeing new culture. This book, I'm going to recommend this one the most. The first one that you get and you read is going to be this one. Okay, this talks about how Steve Jobs and his drug use when he was younger, and how he became how he found the vision for Apple, his rise to fame inside of Apple, and how he got kicked out of his own company. He had to face adversity from the inside, and then he created his own company, which wasn't as relevant as Apple, and then found a partnership with Pixar and created the Pixar that you see today, and pretty much brought Disney on their knees and took over the whole Disney animation sector through Pixar. And that's all inside of this book. And Walter Isaacson does an excellent job detailing all the people that Steve Jobs has interacted with from the very beginning of his life all the way to the end. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Steve brought him on the last year of his life when Steve knew that he had cancer and he was going to die. So excellent book, great insight of the mind of a genius. And this would be the number one book that I do recommend for anyone that is a digital nomad or even an entrepreneur, because this is a hefty book. I cannot recommend this one enough. And then my fourth book that I do recommend is by a similar author on this list. So this book, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. I was able to bring this around with me this past summer when I was driving around and driving to different places in my home province of BC. And this is kind of that next step. But people think that you should read this book before Dotcom Secrets, because Dotcom Secrets is kind of that is the afterthought. But I would actually switch that around. I would read Dotcom Secrets first and then Expert Secrets, because Dotcom Secrets creates that online foundation for what you have, to figure out where to be able to sell your components and sell different products online, and starts giving you some ideas. And then Expert Secrets is the one that kind of nails down those ideas, that niche that you do already have, and it makes you into an expert and to be able to sell your services as an expert. So this book I would 100% highly recommend on this list as well. And there's full of like little doodles on the inside, as you can probably see from right here. Tons of little doodles, and it's a very easy read. It's only around like 250 pages, just like Dotcom Secrets too. And I would 150% recommend this book as well. And last on my list, and just as a disclaimer, I have not read this book yet, but I am so excited to read this book. This is next on my list, and it is Principles by Ray Dalio. This is a book that I'm just about to start, and I'm actually recommending this just based off of three friends who I very much trust. That's why I got the book was actually because they recommended it. And Ray Dalio, who was I believe he was a financier, and he was a what you call it, one of those big guys who ran a whole bunch of like stock programs or something like that. But he's a big player inside of the finance sector in the United States, and he's a billionaire as well as Steve Jobs, also a billionaire, and Sam Walton, billionaire, and Russell Brunson, soon to be billionaire. So all these guys have a whole bunch of background, a whole bunch of proof behind them. But I'll just read you a bit of excerpt inside of here just to give you a bit of an idea on what this book is about. In 1975, Ray Dalio founded Bridgewater Associates out of his two-bedroom apartment in New York City. 40 years later, Bridgewater is the fifth most important private company in the United States. That was from Fortune. And has made more money for investors than any other hedge fund. Hedge fund, that's what I was looking for. He's one of the bigger hedge fund companies. In history, which was from Bloomberg, along the way, Dalio discovered a set of unique principles that he believes are the reason behind his success, and and that he now shares inside of this book. So a lot of these like big billionaires and stuff, if they take the time out of their day, because writing a book actually makes them lose money. So if you think about it, sitting down and writing something, writing a book, it actually causes them to lose money at the end of the day, because they could be doing stuff that's worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars during the time that it takes to make a book. Because trust me, I wrote a book last year. It's on how to travel for free, and I'll also put a link to that, as well as links to these books down in the description and the comment section below. And it took me about 4 months to actually make like a 30-page book, to get all the photos right, to get to get all the wording and the grammar and all that sort of jazz all right, all perfectly aligned. And it's not easy to write a book. So whenever a billionaire or a multimillionaire, they write a book, they're actually losing money by writing that book, because they don't really have to do that. They can just continue on their way and continue to make more money for themselves. So it's actually a pretty selfless act for them to write a book and to give some insight on their own story, and being able to tell it and leave that legacy for all of us to enjoy and to get motivated by. So putting that as the last book on here. So Principles by Ray Dalio. And that's the only one on this list that I haven't actually personally read yet. And I'm very excited to read that book. So those are my top 5 books for entrepreneurs and digital nomads for 2019. Let me know your thoughts. If there's any other books that you would recommend, or anything that you feel that I should check out too, which may have been left off of this list. I'm super excited to get into Principles by Ray Dalio, but I hope that you guys can pick up these books. I'm going to put some links in the description as well as the comment section for these books, and I'll also put a link in the description for my free travel ebook. So for you digital nomads that are out there, I wrote an ebook at the end of 2018 that is about learning how to travel for free. And it's a free ebook just through that link in the description. I normally sell it for some money outside of that link, but because you've taken the time to watch this whole video, I'm going to be giving away that book for free, just for coming along on this journey to have a look at all of these 5 wonderful books. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content and you want to look for more entrepreneurship and digital nomad tips and tidbits, please hit the subscribe button if you wanted to see more of that type of content. Leave me a comment for what books are you reading? What kind of books are you excited or want to get into in 2019 as well, or even in the future if you're watching this in the future too. So once again, my name is Evan, and thank you so much for catching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.